There's the bell. The sound of the bell. Sound coming to the ears. Welcoming ourselves together. Different ages, different ethnicities, different heritages, different religious backgrounds, socioeconomic groups and abilities, different sexual orientations and gender identity, just being together, studying together, and practicing for the benefit of all beings. Knowing that our liberation is interconnected with the liberation of all. And acknowledging the indigenous peoples whose lands we are seated on. Here we have the Clackamas and the Molalla, the Cathlamet, the Multnomah, the Siletz, many native communities that made their homes along the Columbia River. 11,000 years. That is hard to fathom sometimes. Honoring the peoples on whose ancestral lands we are seated, and the benefit that we have from living on this land. May we acknowledge the systemic policies of genocide and relocation and assimilation that still has impact on many indigenous families. Going out of our way sometimes to see what has been going on in their world in these times, not just past, but present and future. And acknowledging the Asian ancestors, those that immigrated from East Asia, from China, all the Buddhist countries, Sri Lanka, China, Japan, Korea, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. We are part of a large community, and we have appreciation and gratitude for the fact that we are sitting here. And we have gratitude to the Buddha and to the Dhamma and to the Sangha. And so knowing that we have this safety, this container of safety, can really help us feel held in our practice, no matter what it is. As we begin to settle in our seat, finding a comfortable position, whether it's seated or standing, walking, lying down. We begin in the usual way that we begin. We start by attending to the breath or the touch point, a place that can help us begin to settle the mind by just paying attention to one thing. And yes, the mind might fly off every 3 seconds, but we can be gentle and kind with ourselves and let the mind return gently with this sense of training the mind, training the heart and mind to be more simple, to see with mindfulness what arises. And if we try to do it with the breath, we can just notice how the air feels going in and out of the nostrils. Just keep coming back. Oh, coolness, coolness, coolness. Or warmth, warmth, warmth. And we can hold ourselves in a sense of well-being, a sense of relaxedness, being kind, having compassion for ourselves as we do the process, whether we're sitting or walking or whether we're in our daily lives, but particularly when we are taking this time to sit and it's easy to see what happens in the mind. We're just there with it. Ah, yes, the habituated, busy mind. It's not really mine, it's the mind. If I tried to hang on to one thing that the mind presented to me, I couldn't stay with it for very long before it would disappear and another one would come about. And mindfulness can just be really present, seeing arising and passing, arising and passing, arising and passing. And if we pay attention sometimes to the end of something, most of the time we see things and then the next thing we know, we're seeing the next thing. And paying attention to when something ended, the ending of something, the ending of a mind state, is an interesting way to have mindfulness see the completion, beginning, middle, and end of whatever object it's choosing. Maybe we can't do it at first. That's okay too. We're just being kind, letting go of expectations of it being different than the way it is because this is the way it is. It's trainable. It can calm eventually or change eventually. Might not always seem like it at the time, though. That's where we can pay attention to, is the mind constricted? Noticing what it feels like when it's constricted. And maybe at first we can just make an attempt here and there, imagining what a more relaxed, expansive state is like. Like if you were a person with asthma, it's like being able to breathe again. A sensation of relief. And so whatever works best for you, attending to the breath or the touch point for a while. And then backing out into a more spacious awareness of what's arising can give us the opportunity to gently guide the mind toward letting go of what's not useful and inclining toward holding ourselves in compassion, holding ourselves in kindness. Letting go of that grasping that's so prevalent. Or just noticing how often it occurs. Noticing the breath expanding in the body. Noticing the breath throughout the entire body. Holding some spaciousness around our hearts. Maybe we spend the whole time attending to the breath and wishing ourselves to be at ease. May I be relaxed and at ease. Letting the heart and mind settle. To just be aware of what comes into that open space. And if it's a lot of busy thoughts running all around, we can acknowledge them. Thank them for being there. Letting your brain know it's doing its job really well there in the thinking category. And coming back into the heart. Coming back into the breath. Letting that busy mind focus on the rising and falling of the diaphragm. Or the warmth and coolness or pressure at the sits bones. Maybe we find ourselves bored right away, can't stay there. Then we notice what comes up next. Oh, boredom. Or rushing off to the next thing to grasp onto. It really allows us to live, to see the living noble truths of how we have ourselves reaching out, extending out to acquire whatever it is that we want. And instead, as Howard Thurman recommended, we look at the world with quiet eyes. Wherever we can, and just let go of grasping. Without having judgment about what's happening. breath by breath, moment by moment, being gentle with ourselves, alert, aware, open, feeling the stability of all of those who have gone before us, doing this same thing with the same kind of busy hearts and minds that we have. Noticing, like Rumi talks about in his poem, The Guest House, just noticing the guests that come and go. Maybe it's aversion, maybe it's judgment, maybe it's grasping and clinging, maybe it's restlessness. We just see it. We let mindfulness do its job with neutrality. We allow awareness to be there. Mindfulness by itself is not enough. Even awareness by itself is not enough. Wisdom needs to be present. And wisdom can see, yes, not helpful. We can watch it pass on its own. We can invite it to pass and incline toward, may I be at ease, may I be relaxed. May I take care of myself in this way happily. We have long time habits of quickly grasping on to the next thing. So it doesn't go away that easily. It doesn't really go away. It's how we view it. It's our attitude toward the mind, toward letting it be what it is, but not have it be the ruler of ourselves. And we can see what happens when it does. We might be leaning forward in anticipation, in our minds, in our way we're seated. Whether it's something unpleasant that we're attending to or something pleasant that we're attending to. This desire for not having something change or having something else change. The Buddha definitely figured it out when he came up with, I teach one thing and one thing only, suffering and the end of suffering. Finding the cause of suffering to be in grasping and craving and clinging, And we get this marvelous opportunity to see it, to hold whatever's happening, and to maybe imagine that expansiveness, imagining a kind of spaciousness. Whether it's our power intention to wish something to happen, or whether it's an effort at calming and finding patience. It all is there within the mix. Letting down the burden that we've been carrying and leaving room for our loving hearts to uncoil and hold us gently. Paying attention with interest. Experimenting. May we hold ourselves, remind ourselves, wrap ourselves in our coziest favorite winter blanket in kindness. Having compassion. Being with our suffering when it's difficult. May we be at ease. May I be at ease. May all beings be at ease. Our friends, our family, people that we're close to, our neighbors, people on the street that we see and don't know. May all beings be at ease. Those seen and unseen, those known and unknown, those in happy states, those in unhappy states. So much dukkha everywhere. And we're with it one breath at a time. Wishing those in sorrow and pain be free from their harm, be safe, be protected, have ease. Those who are in joy, may you be peaceful, safe, and at ease. Beings known and unknown, beings seen and unseen. May all beings everywhere really understand the true nature of suffering, the impermanent nature of all conditioned things that are arising and passing away. And before we close, I'd like to play Sister Santusika and Aya Chitananda's recitation of chanting the verses of the highest blessing. I hope that it can be heard.
From source. Now let us chant the verses on the highest blessing. Thus have I heard that the Blessed One was staying at Savatthi, residing at the Jeta's Grove in Anathapindika's Park. Then in the dark of the night a radiant diva illuminated all Jeta's Grove. She bowed down low before the Blessed One. Then standing to one side she said, Devas are concerned for happiness and ever long for peace. The same is true for humankind. What then are the highest blessings? Avoiding those of foolish ways, associating with the wise, and honoring those worthy of honor. These are the highest blessings, living in places of suitable kind, with the fruits of past good deeds, and guided by the rightful way. These are the highest blessings, accomplished in learning and craftsman skills, with discipline highly trained, and speech that is true and pleasant to hear. These are the highest blessings, providing for mother and father's support, and cherishing family, and ways of work that harm no being. These are the highest blessings, generosity and a righteous life, offering help to relatives and kin, and acting in ways that leave no blame. These are the highest blessings, steadfast in restraint, and shunning evil ways, and avoiding intoxicants that dull the mind, and heedfulness in all things that arise. These are the highest blessings, respectfulness and being of humble ways, contentment and gratitude, and hearing the Dhamma frequently taught. These are the highest blessings, patience and willingness to accept one's faults, being venerated seekers of the truth, and sharing often the words of Dhamma. These are the highest blessings, ardent, committed to the holy life, seeing for oneself the noble truth and the realization of Nibbana. These are the highest blessings, although in contact with the world, unshaken the mind remains, beyond all sorrow, solace secure. These are the highest blessings, they who live by following this path know victory wherever they go, and every place for them is safe. These are the highest blessings.
So we train the heart and mind to be clear, to see what's in front of us, to have it be all right, whatever arises. Anicca vata sankhara, upadavaya domino, upakita va merchanti, te samvapasamo sukho. All conditioned things are subject to impermanence. They arise and pass away. Seeing this clearly with mindfulness brings the greatest happiness, which is peace. Thank you for your practice. Don't forget, the goodness of this practice benefits all sentient beings, even if it doesn't seem like it's so good at the time. Any practice is of benefit to all beings. Thank you.